Hey everyone, just a quick update on Ukraine. So I'm going to look at this map. It's a map from Wagner, PMC Wagner. And as we all know, Bakhmut has fallen. I put out a video earlier yesterday. But according to this map, if you look carefully, they are also in Yahidne. I think this is Yahidne. And if you look carefully, they're actually in the center of Yahidne according to this map. Now, according to some sources I've heard, Yahidne is on the verge of falling. We don't know that for sure, but if we look at the map, first of all, you will notice a lot of these bomb symbols, and all of them are red, representing Russian bombardment of Ukrainian positions. And we're going to zoom in on Bakhmut, and you see right here Bakhmut, they've put the flag up here. This is a pro-Ukrainian map, so there's no denying it, but they haven't shown Yahidne, any activity in Yahidne. Right now they're not showing any activity, but according to this map, not only are the Wagner assault units in Yahidne, but they're also moving in from the east. So they would essentially be doing something like this, going towards Yahidne here, and trying to create a little cauldron in this area right here as well. And according to this map, basically Wagner is attacking Bakhmut from all sides, from the east and the south. And if you look carefully, you'll see that according to this, they're pretty much in the center of the town, right? So that's interesting, because according to this source right here on Twitter, they're basically saying that PMC Wagner fighters saying they are 400 meters away from Bakhmut, Artemovsk city center. And that would make sense if you look at this map. They're pretty much right there. That's actually closer than 400 meters, but let's just measure it out from this forest to, let's say, the very center. I mean, that... Okay, let's try to figure this out. Just give me a second. So, assuming that... I don't know, it depends where you think the center is, but let's say the center's right here. So 400 meters would be, wow, that's really close. That's really close. 400. Oopsie, yeah. So that means that they're basically right there. I mean, that's really... That would mean they covered a lot of ground. I don't know about that, but you never know. Maybe the Ukrainians are withdrawing. And I've heard some rumors that if you look at the river right here, that the Ukrainians are actually planning to withdraw from the eastern side of the river, and just focus on defending the western part of Bakhmut. So I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on, but Bakhmut might be on the verge of crumbling, because, like I said in an earlier video a few days ago, and I repeated this earlier in my video yesterday, I mean, you think about it. If Yahidne falls, and let's say the section to the east of Yahidne also falls, I mean, they're going to be really close to cutting off the last road out of Bakhmut. And the last road is, let me draw it for you guys, right here. Stretch this out. So that would be the last road, because the road in the north, I mean, the Russians have taken it. The road to the south is under fire control less than, a mile, less than a kilometer away in some areas. So they can hit it with artillery anytime, drones. They can't use that road. And this road right here, I mean, if the Russians are in the center of Yahidne and they're about to take it, I mean, then they don't even have to get to the road. I mean, just halfway there, they get halfway to the road approximately. And then that would place their artillery even from an okay distance. It would place it at what? Like 1 mile away. So then that road would also be under fire control. So yeah, I think the Ukrainians need to definitely start thinking about getting the heck out of there. They need to scramble and just get out. Anyways, aside from that, let's talk a little bit about Transnistria. Let me get rid of all this. So Transnistria is, wow, look at the discrepancy in firepower. I mean, it's all the Russians, right? That's what 10 times as much artillery looks like. So, and that kind of ties into why the Ukrainians want to, are interested in Transnistria. Now, some Ukrainian officials have made some statements relating to this. So when it comes to Transnistria, there's a few issues. One issue, it's a matter of logistics, because right now, I mean, if NATO wants to send weapons to Ukraine, everyone knows they can't do it through Belarus, Russian ally, right? They can do it through Poland, Slovakia, Hungary. No, they don't want to be involved. And then, of course, they can go through Romania. But with Romania, if they want to get to Odessa, let me just zoom in. They want to send supplies through Odessa, then they need to go through this southern route, and they would have to go through this area right here, the southern tip of Ukraine, right here, and the only thing connecting this southern region to the rest of Ukraine is a bridge which was recently targeted by the Russians. This bridge right here, right? So this bridge was recently targeted by the Russians, and they used a surface vessel like a speedboat drone, and they targeted the columns, not the actual roadway. But anyways, the Romanians, they would have to go through that route, and then they'd get to Odessa, right? And or they could take a northern route, and then they would, send supplies into Ukraine that way. If you notice Transnistria, it's like a huge barrier standing in their way, right? Because Moldova, they're mostly Romanian. It has to do with World War II. The Soviet Union conquered the region which is now Moldova, and for that reason, it was part of the Soviet Union as a socialist Soviet republic. But a lot of the Romanian people in Moldova, they would prefer to join Romania, but that's not possible because Moldova has a territorial dispute with Transnistria, and no country with territorial disputes can join NATO. And obviously, if Moldova joins Romania, becomes part of Romania, then Moldova, it would be part of NATO too, right? Because it would be part of Romania, and then you've got a territorial dispute, so that's not possible. Anyways, this Transnistria, it's basically like 120 miles long, not very wide, but it's a thin strip of land. But basically, my point is, it's kind of a logistics issue, right? Because if the Ukrainians were to conquer Transnistria, and Moldova were to join in, and they would basically sandwich Transnistria. The thing is, Transnistria, there's like 6,000 Russian peacekeepers. They wouldn't stand much of a chance. I mean, the Ukrainians could send in like 20,000 troops, and they would be overwhelmed eventually, right? It's such a thin strip of land, and if Moldova were to help them, then they would be sandwiched from both sides, right? But anyways, my point is, Romania, and NATO overall if Transnistria is out of the picture as a pro-Russian enclave, then they could use it as a transit route, right? They could just go through Moldova, and if you zoom in, there's a lot of roads going through here, right? So they could just basically use any one of these roads and just go through Transnistria as they please, right? Now they can't do that. Anyways, that's one reason. Another reason ties into the weapons caches that Transnistrians have. So this is the flag of Transnistria, and I mean, you take out this green part, it's basically the flag of the Soviet Union, right? They are extremely pro-Soviet, pro-Russian. I mean, this is their national emblem or standard. I mean, this is pretty much the Soviet Union exemplified, right? I mean, here's a little bit of history on these guys. This channel sums it up pretty well on Twitter. What you need to know about the Russian military presence in Transnistria. 60% of the inhabitants of Transnistria are Russian and Ukrainians. They sought to secede from Moldova even before the collapse of the USSR, fearing joining Romania, right? And anyways, the other reason that Ukraine would want to take over Moldova is the weapons, stockpile of weapons. So they have a tank battalion of something like 20 tanks. These are T-72 tanks, and they have reactive armor, and 20 tanks is not much, but still 20 tanks, right? And they have something like 200 armored vehicles. These are more T-72 tanks. But anyways, yeah, 200 armored vehicles, and this is like a little parade you see, like a military parade. You see these BTRs in the background. So 200 of those, and Ukraine is running low on weapons and supplies, so that would be a nice boost for Ukraine, right? And the real prize, 1,500 to 2,000 pieces of artillery. You can see this is like artillery, like they have like some older Soviet era artillery, and they're like towed artillery, but still 2,000 pieces of artillery would be a massive boost for the Ukrainians. That's if they can get their hands on it, because the Russians, they're basically aware of what the Ukrainians are allegedly planning. And if the Russians are smart, what they would do is they would rig all of those warehouses, the weapon stockpiles, with explosives just in case. And they would get their soldiers ready to ambush the Ukrainians. Because, even 1,000 pieces of artillery, I mean, they're still going to, if they put up a fight, the Russians are still going to inflict some serious casualties onto the Ukrainians, no matter what. And another thing is they'd have to be obviously ready to destroy their weapons so it wouldn't fall in the hands of the Ukrainians, right? But the Russians are aware, so I'm sure they have some contingency plans in place. Maybe they're getting ready as we speak. But anyways, I thought I would also show you guys this massive demonstration in Moldova in support of Russia. This is something you will not, I repeat, you will not see on the mainstream media. In the West, at least. Some loading issues there, but basically they're chanting Rusiye, which is Russia, Russia, Russia. So that's interesting. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.